Welcome to the Recruitment People podcast, the place where employers and candidates unite to uncover the art of successful recruitment. Hi, I'm Kelly Charity, a recruiter and agency owner with over 2 decades of recruitment experience. In this podcast series, I'm going to dive deep into the heart of hiring and job seeking, sharing actionable insights, expert advice, and of course, a little bit of fun along the way. Whether you're looking to sharpen your hiring practices or navigate your career path, we've got you covered. So let's get started and unlock the secrets to recruitment success together.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Recruitment People podcast. Today's topic is an interesting one, and it's about navigating a career transition, which there are many reasons why this happens in someone's life. And so we're going to talk through how to make that happen, the things to be aware of. Now, I'm your host, Adam Bell, and again with us today is recruitment and career expert, I'm going to say, Kelly Charity. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Adam.
Now, you're going to guide us through the challenges and these strategies associated with making a career change, whether that's within the same industry or whether it's something totally different. So, look, let's talk about making a career transition. What makes it so challenging?
Okay, so it depends on the situation. So if somebody has been made redundant and is wanting to make a change or is being forced to make a change, then that's a challenge in itself. If they've been employed for many years, they may be fearful of the unknown, don't know what to do now, don't know how to present their resume, don't know how to interview, all of those things. So that's one challenge. So talking to them about what their career transition is going to look like. Then you've got the people who literally are unsatisfied at work. And so they're thinking about getting out of their industry or out of their role into a different role and navigating that change, identifying what that looks like. And then you've got the people who want to get into a completely different industry. They know what they love. They know that they're in nursing at the moment and want to get out of nursing, and they want to go into something completely different.
Sure.
So changing industry completely. I mean, there's other reasons, but they're the major ones. So yeah, they're navigating that process is challenging, dependent on the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look, you've opened my eyes here. I can see what we're dealing with now. So it's, look, and how many times have we seen someone change from something they've done and absolutely go kill it in another area, whether it be slightly aligned with what they've done or even, something totally different. But you mentioned a few things there that really opened my eyes to this. Because like I just said, people do this and do it successfully and end up being great at their new thing. But how do you fill that gap? You mentioned 3 things there. What was it? Resume, interview.
I mean, it comes down to where they feel they're struggling. So for example, if somebody hasn't been in an interview for a while or hasn't been out of work for a while and they're being retrenched, then it's looking at, okay, what is it you need? So they go, well, I haven't been interviewed. I haven't got an updated resume. There's the gap for a start. So you need to work with them through the entire process to say, okay, you need to update your resume. Let us help you with that. You need to now look at how you're going to interview and present yourself to bring your skills forward. And for somebody that's worked in a role for a long time, their job is just what they do, but they don't, you have to drag out of them, well, what is that? Well, I'm really good with customer service, or I do this and I do that, but it's just admin. Well, no, it's not just admin. You're project managing, you're going through planning, drawing out of them what they do so you can get those keywords to say, you've done a lot of project work or you've done a lot of customer service, so you now can transfer into this and then present them or present their skills in the right way.
This is what I was going to say. I think it's about everyone's got transferable skills, what we call transferable skills, isn't it? That, something you've been doing that you can do very well that could be used in another job, in another career.
Absolutely.
And what you are talking about here is how do you present that, A, on your resume, and B, in an interview. Because that's what you need to be able to sell in order to make a transition, isn't it? Because there are ways and means to do that that I guess a lot of people aren't aware of or how to do. And you've got courses that help people with this.
Absolutely. And I mean, with the resume and the interview, I'm going to apply for these jobs. I just need to update my resume and make sure I can interview correctly for those jobs. But sometimes there's a gap. if there's a gap in what you're doing right now to where you want to go, then you need to then upskill. So once you've done the upskilling, then you look at the resume and you look at how to interview and present that.
Right.
Or you say, I want to apply for this kind of role, but I don't have the skills for that. But working with a career coach can identify, actually, you do have the skills for that. You just didn't realize you had them.
They're called something different in your industry.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what you've been doing all of your working life. And do you have the skills actually to transfer into this role? Yes, you do. You don't need to upskill. You just need to present yourself in a different way. Whereas sometimes you would go, actually, you really need to do this course because you haven't done, business development. You haven't done.
It's pulling apart what they've done and working out, let's call it percentage. What percentage of the new role you're after have you got in transferable skills? Oh, 80. We've got this course that can give you the other 20.
Yes.
And suddenly you're then employable.
Absolutely. There's lots of courses online, to upskill. It's just identifying, where do I need to upskill? And you might, like I said, you might not need to upskill. It might be a case of, I do already have the skills. It's just that I'm being pigeonholed in this particular industry, but I can actually transfer into that industry. I mean, as a recruiter, and when you're being represented by a recruiter, the recruiter will have already pulled that information out of you to present you to their client or the new employee in the right way so that you get the opportunity to get in front of the employer. But when you're doing it, applying online and going through the recruitment process yourself, you need to make sure your resume is going to present you in the absolute best light to fit that job, because otherwise no one's arguing your case or trying to put your best foot forward. So it can be challenging in itself.
Yeah. But this is what your programs do, teach people how to do that and how to make that resume look attractive for the new career that you are going for.
Yes.
So can your programs here, especially maybe the career coaching, let's talk about someone who's, unfulfilled in their current role, knows they want to make what we're calling a career transition, but doesn't know where to go.
Yeah. Well, I think speaking with a career coach would help with that. So if you know you're unhappy and you're unfulfilled, then you can speak with a career coach to say, what I actually love is customer service, or they might not even know that. They might just know that they're miserable in their role. So then you have the conversation of, okay, what is it that makes you unhappy? What is it that you love about the job? Which parts do you actually enjoy? Or what did you enjoy about it when you first joined? What's happened since? So really dragging out of the person what's going on. So you can identify actually they are really unhappy because they're doing so much admin, and what they really love is the part where they're out on the road speaking with people. So actually you love interacting with people. Okay, so how can we transfer this into a different role?
Sure.
And then you start going through Seek and you start looking at jobs where they're, speaking with people, retail maybe, or
where there's interaction.
Presenting things to them, and they go, oh no, I don't want to do that because of X. And so you're really dragging out of them what it is that they really want to do. And then you go back to identifying the gap. Okay, so could you transfer into this, or is there actually a skill gap? Oh, I want to work in, speaking with people about their financial planning. Okay, so you need to do a financial planning course. You can't just, I love speaking with people, so now I'm going to advise them on their finances.
We joked before coming on air, didn't we, that this episode isn't going to help a plumber who wants to become a doctor.
Correct. Can't go there. But also looking at somebody that's really unfulfilled in their role, at some point, I would suggest, I could be wrong, that they actually did enjoy the role. So what's happened and why don't they enjoy the role now? And sometimes that can come down to, I'm not valued. I do actually enjoy my role. I don't enjoy where I am in the business. So culture's not right, et cetera, et cetera. Or maybe they just feel undervalued from a pay perspective. So they don't feel like they're being paid enough money for the role.
Sure.
So again, you can speak to somebody like a recruiter about that, or do your own research to see, well, what is the market saying for my job? Is my job worth more money? And the whole pay rise conversation is another piece, which can lead to people wanting career transition because they're not happy or need more money. But that conversation is a whole navigation piece that we offer a course on, navigating the salary, how to ask for a pay rise in the right way to get it is another course. But just different reasons why people want to make that career transition, you know, and it's identifying where's the gap, how do we get from A to B.
Sure. I want to ask you about potentially networking being a good tool in helping for a career change, because being a business owner myself over many years, I've often met someone and just thought, you would be great in my business doing what I need. And they've got, you know, they're in a role that's got nothing to do, but you just see skills, you see a personality, you see something, a spark in someone. And so I was going to ask you, can that be a good way of making a career transition, getting out and networking and just meeting other people?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, networking, speaking with the experts in the role perhaps that you want to go into is a great way to identify whether that is something that you want. And even networking with people will give you knowledge. So they might say something about, you know, the new industry that perhaps you're trying to get into that you go, oh, I didn't know, you know, plumbers actually have to dig trenches because they put pipes in the ground. I just wanted to work under the sink. I mean, silly example, but you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And they go, oh, like I have a fear of spiders. So I'm like going in the ground, like that's not going to work for me. So you're literally speaking with the expert and networking. You would understand whether it's the right opportunity for you. But also, like you just said, speaking with people and networking could get you the opportunity that you were looking for without going on Seek and applying for jobs, and you just speaking with people in the industry who identify that you could definitely do this kind of work and land you the role anyway. But and that networking piece, I mean, we can network face to face. There's a lot of groups, but you can also do the networking on LinkedIn. But that comes down to then your brand. So your online brand, your online presence. I was going to ask,
how important is that with a, you know, career change?
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. Your brand is huge. Online presence is, you know, everyone's online now. You can see everyone's, and hopefully your resume aligns with your
where you're wanting to go,
where you want to go,
which comes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and aligns with your LinkedIn profile, because if your LinkedIn profile doesn't align with your resume, what's going on there? And I think you have to be focused on where you want to go in order to achieve that goal. So if you're wanting to make a career transition and your resume and your LinkedIn profile aren't aligning, and your resume, or your objective in your resume is, for example, you know, I want to be the best in customer service and X, Y, and Z, and then on LinkedIn it says I'm searching for a sales role. We've got this conflicting information.
What is this person? What do they do?
What do you want? What do you actually want? Actually, you don't know what you want, so we'll just leave you for now, and we'll go with the person that's really looking and knows what they want in their career, because otherwise you just look desperate.
Yep.
You know, so it is about presenting your best foot, presenting yourself as the best way that you can.
Sure.
On LinkedIn, social media, all of those places, so your brand is there.
Yep.
Because some companies are looking for people who don't have experience in their industry, who are looking for somebody to transfer.
Absolutely.
So if your blurb on your LinkedIn says, or your bio says, you know, I'm looking for an opportunity with an accountancy firm and X, Y, and Z, and then somebody happens across you and says, you'd be perfect for us because we don't want somebody that's in the industry. We want somebody we can train in the industry.
You get that a lot. Having a recruitment background, as I've mentioned before, I know this quite often.
Yeah.
Recruitment agencies, when looking for new agents, are looking for someone who hasn't been before but has transferable skills. Salespeople is a big one.
Yeah.
If they can sell, we can teach them recruitment.
Correct.
And there are so many out there. So this can probably work in the opposite, can't it? That employers go looking for someone to make the transition to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we had an automotive sales role, and we had somebody with no experience, and the client was talking about somebody with experience. They didn't want to train, and we brought them somebody with no experience. But the attitude and the capability from a selling perspective was there, and they had a passion to get into automotive. Now, if you've got somebody that wants to get into that industry, rather than somebody that's been in it for 20 years, that's just going through the motions, knows what to do, blah, 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 rather than somebody that, I want this job, you know. And so we spoke to the client and said, look, you know, we've got a candidate, doesn't quite meet your brief, but you need to meet with them, and they value our service and they value our opinion. So I said, okay, we'll meet with the guy.
Yep.
They hired him on the spot. I mean,
Wow.
just the attitude, you know.
Yep.
And he was making a career transition from selling, what was he selling? Carpet. And he went into the car industry. So, you know,
Fantastic.
yeah, transferable.
Yep.
You can sell, but people get pigeonholed in that.
They do.
I can only sell Windows, or I can only sell,
Yep.
you know, recruitment. And yeah.
So look, I think if there's anyone out there listening and, you know, a career change, a transition is, you know, something you've thought about, it's well worth reaching out to Kelly and her team at the Recruitment People about they've got many different programs, but the career transition program, the career coaching program, and look, you know, there's so many benefits to this as well, that you'll get to know Kelly and her team, that you'll become a candidate that they will get to know, that so where they do come across a job where a career transition may work for that client, you're known, you're there. So reach out and give these definitely a go. They'll help you plug those gaps that you need to, tell you where you're at, find out your transferable skills, and help you through the process of how to get that on your resume, how to cover that in an interview. Kelly, thanks once again. Another great episode of your expert guidance on all things recruitment and careers. You know, to anyone listening, we hope you're leaving with some actionable tips to help you through your own career change. So do give us a like, a follow, hit subscribe, because there's so much good information that comes through our podcast episodes. And tune in again for our next episode. We'll be coming out in a fortnight.
Thank you.